People everywhere are starting to listen to him. He's going on French, British, Italian, Japanese television.
This is the wide world of Weingarten.
Welcome back to the wide world of Weingarten. This is episode 5. It's October 14th. Thank you to the couple of listeners who reached out to me and mentioned that there's an issue with the episodes going up a day late. I'm looking into that and trying to get that fixed today. Hopefully we'll get that all the technical stuff fixed this first week. So jumping right in to the European Tour and golf. It was a kind of a boring overnight session. The first round is wrapping up right now. Jon Rahm's currently tied for 111th place. I think this might be his worst finish on the European Tour. He's clearly there for the appearance fee this week. Not really playing up to his standard. The bets I made, there's nothing exciting to talk about. I think Alex Bjork is 1 over par. There's only 9 players under par right now with the first round finishing up. Hopefully we'll have something else to talk about there tomorrow. I didn't see anything worth jumping in on live betting. The CJ Cup's underway in Vegas. Bunch of early leaders bunched up near the top with Robert Streb currently at -6. McNeely's second at -3. He's benefiting a little bit from that home course narrative, I guess. Second place right now, still 50 guys or so to tee off today. Currently about 28-1 live, close 32-1 around there at Chris, and in the 40s at Circa. Happy to be holding the 70-1 there right now with a bunch of people smarter than me having bet him down at Circa and Chris. So on to the Dodgers Giants today. It's Julio Urias versus Webb. It's the big game. Probably one of the biggest games of the playoffs, at least for Dodgers Giants fans. I see mostly 105s each way. Don't lay more than 110 on either side of this game. There's plenty of very good prices if you shop around. I see offshore Chris has the Dodgers plus 100, Giants 110 with 10K limits. So you have to respect the fact that one of the biggest bookmakers in the world right now is shaded towards the Giants. For the Giants, just being in the NLDS and a Game 5 elimination against the Dodgers is a win for the franchise, although I don't expect them to care about moral victories here. The only thing either team cares about is winning this game and getting to the championship series. It's a huge series for both franchises. And here's the thing with the Dodgers, I just wanted to sort of clarify my stance on the Dodgers because it's something I talk about a lot on Beating the Book, or not Beating the Book, a numbers game with Gil Alexander. I am not a Dodgers fan. I don't even regularly watch their games, even though I live in LA. It's mainly because of the blackout issue, and it's not really possible to get around it and still watch them on TV without VPNs and streaming and all sorts of stuff. And by then the delay is too long. I'd rather just follow the game on Twitter. So I really don't watch all of their games anymore, but I do recognize how good of a team they are, and I do follow them because they are my local team. I just kind of have this opinion that no team that has the highest salary in their sport should really ever be in a position to complain about anything else anyone else is doing or any disadvantage they might have. I mean, with the Dodgers, they literally have every advantage possible. They have the infinite money code. You know, there's nothing that's unattainable to them monetarily. They can go to a bank and get a loan and print more money basically, and there's nothing that is out of their reach financially. If there's a new cutting edge baseball tool or a new technology, whether the cameras in the stadiums or StatCast or anything that's built that can revolutionize the game, they're the first club to have it. And not only do they have it, they'll hire the people who made it as consultants to help them implement it. So again, they literally have every advantage. They signed Trevor Bauer. It didn't work out. They traded for Max Scherzer, practically one of the best pitchers in baseball, or best pitcher not named Jacob deGrom, and they got a top 3 MVP candidate. thrown in that deal. It's the kind of trades and the kind of player acquisition stuff that you only see in video games and not really in reality before this. So today I think you'll see that there's 29 teams and their fans rooting for the Giants, and the Dodgers and their fans rooting for the Dodgers. There's not really a lot of people outside of the Dodgers who like to see them win, and I mean I don't really blame them. It's sometimes I do think they take a little bit out of the fun of baseball, but I'll still probably hopefully go to some NLCS games if they make it there. So my bets today for this game, now that you listen to me talk about all that, I bet the first inning plus 115. I'll have my I'll be on the lookout as the day goes on. If you can get anything better than plus 115, probably see some plus 120s, plus 125s, etc. Obviously, better the higher the price, the better. I'll bet it again if I see a higher price. Sort of the converse of the first inning. I bet the hits run error line, HRE is typically how I say it. If you're gonna listen long term, I'll just refer to it as the HRE line. Hits run errors under 23 minus 120. I think the off day benefits both teams. It lets their bullpens rest. Make sure every pitcher is available to pitch an inning or however many pitches needed out of the bullpen. I think we're probably going to see a relatively low-scoring game. I like the under 23 on the HRE line, under there better than the full game under, which I see is going up to about 7 plus minus 110. I'd just bet the hits run error under myself. So then we got the Red Sox series coming up. I think it starts. I'm not sure actually when it starts. If it starts tomorrow or Saturday. I haven't actually looked at the games yet, but I did bet the series. I said I bet plus 130, plus 135. Both of those numbers good. Don't go under plus 130. I see Lance McCullers is undergoing an MRI today for forearm tightness, and that's never something you want to see going into the championship series if you're the Astros. I think both teams are relatively evenly matched. The one thing that worries me about the Astros is the lack of pitching depth, and losing McCullers potentially before the series just puts a whole bunch of stress on a whole bunch of younger guys, and I'm not particularly interested in backing them as a favorite. I'm also not a huge Astros fan. I'm indifferent to the Red Sox, so surprisingly, so I don't really have a good explanation why I like the Astros less, but I do. On to the NFL. Again, the Bucs game tonight probably won't have a ton of my attention with the Dodgers Giants on. I did, however, make a single prop bet in this game for first touchdown. I bet Greg Ward at 60-1 at Circa. Last 3 weeks, he's only played 16, 30, and 28% of the snaps. He scored 2 touchdowns. I've always been a Greg Ward fan. Similar to Donald Parham, they're both guys that I scouted in the XFL and the AAF when both of those existed, and I actually really enjoyed both those leagues. It was fun to have random second tier spring football, and COVID kind of ruined it, but it was a cool thing for a while it existed. There were also some cool correlated parlay / teasers that were available with those, so I'll always look fondly at the XFL and the AAF. This weekend, we have NFL starting back up. I bet the Chargers +3. They're traveling back east to Baltimore, coming off that game where they scored 47 points, and I think they won 47-42 versus the Browns. Now they travel to Baltimore. The Ravens having a short week after an overtime game on Monday. Never a particularly good spot, especially when you're facing a team like the Chargers that's strong on both sides of the ball. So I was happy to take the +3 there. I also bet the Broncos -3.5 versus the Raiders. I've been pretty high on the Broncos all season. I've been low on the Raiders before everything that happened this week, and I think Teddy Bridgewater's back and healthy. He looked fine last week, coming off that concussion. I think he'll look better this week. And I think the Raiders are just in a tough spot moving forward the rest of the season, and some people I saw saying that the Gruden firing might be a rallying point for them to kind of come together and have a nobody believes in us mentality, but I don't really buy that at all. I think the players know how dysfunctional this whole situation is, and they probably even know the dysfunction, inside the building that we don't know about. And that stuff, I think, carries over to the field, especially when you might not have the strongest coaching staff. And now you have a bunch of coaches who are thinking about their futures and where their next jobs are coming from, if they're going to be with the Raiders long term now that Gruden's out. A head coach like that gets fired, a new guy is probably going to want to come in and bring in his whole staff. So you have a whole bunch of coaches who aren't necessarily totally motivated. You have players who are aware that their jobs are on the line. They'll obviously show up because the NFL, you don't get second chances. But I can see the Raiders kind of mailing it in the rest of the season. I'm happy to lay 3.5 here with the Broncos in a division game. I think the Chargers are clearly the best team in the division at the moment. The Chiefs have a defensive deficiency and problems on defense. I think if you exclude the Raiders, the Broncos are still maybe a borderline playoff team. I was really high on them before Bridgewater's concussion, and it would only take a couple games to really get the Broncos back up in the race as a contender. So we'll see how they play the next couple weeks and see if I get back on the Broncos. I do have some futures on them to win the AFC West that I'm not disappointed in, but I'm not adding anything to. But I really think the Raiders are done. And in fact, if I was any other team, I would probably be scouring their roster for reasonably priced veteran contracts that they might want to move. But yeah, let's see how the Raiders play this weekend before we talk more about how done their season is. That's probably something for next week. I don't see any Wong teasers this weekend. The only thing that I saw that would fit would be the Chargers if they get down to 2.5, but there's nothing to pair it with, so I passed on all teasers this weekend. As far as awards go, the only things of note that we haven't really discussed the past 2 days, I see Lamar Jackson. It's gone from 12-1 to 10-1 at DraftKings, still 12-1 everywhere else. Not a huge, particularly exciting move or anything. Just noting the 12-1, 10-1 move. And then Brandon Staley, he's still plus 450 at DraftKings and BetMGM. Circa opened their MVP and player awards numbers a little later than everybody else, which they tend to do. But I saw Circa, he's only 3-1 at Circa. He's 4.5-1 at DraftKings and BetMGM. I consider Circa one of the sharper books with some of the sharpest lines, the best odds makers, people who know what they're doing. If you see that they have something at 3-1 that DraftKings and BetMGM has at 4.5-1, I can promise you that the 4.5-1 is typically going to be a good bet and a good number. So I liked it before. I bet it earlier this week. I'm probably going to grab another ticket on it later today. I recommend you guys do it too. As I said earlier this week, I think Staley at 4.5-1 is a much better bet on the Chargers than betting the Chargers at plus 110 to win the division. If they do win the division, you're likely holding a Coach of the Year ticket at 4 times the odds. So that's the update for today. Hopefully McNeely stays near the top today and gives us a nice chance into the weekend. But don't get your hopes up on golf too early, especially not on a Thursday or a Friday. Probably not even on a Saturday. I usually don't even get my hopes up till about the back 9 on the final round, but it's a good spot to be in. Hopefully we have some winners here today. First inning, yes, plus 115 for the Dodgers. Hits, run errors, under 23, minus 120. The Red Sox series price plus 130. Grabbed that before. And Greg Ward 60-1. I like that tonight. First touchdown. Chargers plus 3 this weekend. Broncos minus 3.5. That's basically what I'm working with today today and for this weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with more bets, more talk, more exciting stuff. As always, thank you for listening, and hopefully we have some winners today.